With World of Warcraft about to turn a new page with a completely new story arc, I revisited Warcraft 3 to remember why I originally fell in love with Warcraft's world, lore and characters. Admittedly, this reforged version of the game isn't the best, and I'll get into its problems in a bit.
Never a dull moment. Let's get moving.
But Warcraft 3 is real-time strategy, and I feel like it's definitely part RPG, with a story campaign where you level up and customize heroes. Plenty of optional side quests from hunting dragons to saving abducted children.
Could you find him and bring him home?
There's even a bonus Horde campaign that plays like a full-on RPG, where you help build up the Horde city in Durotar. This campaign is very much the gameplay and story foundations that World of Warcraft is built upon.
We've built this kingdom, Durotar, for all of our kind.
Sounds too good to be true, and this used to be my most favourite real-time strategy game of all time. Problem is, Blizzard has officially deleted Warcraft 3 from existence and replaced it with the reforged version of the game. Somehow, Blizzard managed to make this reforged version of the game a downgrade over the original, and get this, there's no way to return to the original game you paid for. Well, officially no way. Not to mention selling Reforged on straight up lies with promised features cut, and believe it or not, a terms of service that has you hand over your moral rights.
Isn't that a bit much, lad?
Despite all that, I thought I'd give it another shot for old time's sake. It's 4.5 years later, surely it's in a better state and they've fixed part of the game or added in some of the missing features.
Your curiosity will be the death of you.
Believe it or not, there are grammar errors. Quite often a character's mouth would stop moving while they're talking.
I will deal with you later. 10,000 years ago, we Night Elves defeated the Burning Legion.
And I even had one mission where after an hour, it wouldn't complete despite doing the objectives. I tried reloading an earlier save and looking into the problem online, and it's a known problem that's never been fixed. Also, after a few hours, campaign levels would stop loading and I'd have to reload the entire game, as if there was some kind of memory leak. So yeah, incredibly sad that Blizzard have effectively taken a massive shit on the legacy of this legendary game.
Give my regards to Hell, you son of a bitch.
And I said Warcraft 3 was my favourite RTS of all time. That's because Blizzard didn't make a bad reforged version of the game, they replaced the original game with this. While Age of Empires 2 is another real-time strategy game that has had a massively successful remake in comparison and has overtaken Warcraft 3 as my personal favourites. Hey, trying to grow the channel, mainly covering RPGs, and I'm revisiting Warcraft 3 because I'll be delving into World of Warcraft's The War Within soon. I do a lot of Final Fantasy, and I'm looking to compare Final Fantasy XIV's Dawn Trail with Warcraft's The War Within. If you consider subbing or liking the video, it's an amazing help, thank you.
It's been too long, old friend.
So, when I started the campaigns, the first thing that hit me were the overhauled graphics, and they're quite jarring compared to the original. The models are technically higher quality, but it's a very different art style. Something about it just doesn't feel right. I think the problem is it's higher quality models, but using over 20-year-old animations. Overall, it just feels unfinished as well.
Fall back to the trees!
I forced myself to play with these reforged visuals to fairly judge them, but I think next time I'll definitely be returning to the classic visuals. One new feature they added is the ability to zoom out further than the original game, and this would have been really useful, but they managed to mess this up as well. On every stage, it's a complete dice roll to whether the zoom out will work, or there will be this horrible fog or glow that makes the game unplayable when zoomed out. All these problems make me sad because there was such an epic fantasy story here with legendary characters. What starts out as a war between orcs and humans means very little in the face of the introduction of undead plagues, demonic invasions, and the Night Elves. They really dialed everything up to 11.
Tremble, mortals, and despair. Doom has come to this world.
It was kind of dark gothic fantasy, but it didn't take itself too serious with a side of goofiness. I remember you could keep clicking on your units and they'd get annoyed or have funny dialogue.
Me busy, leave me alone.
My favourite was the Pit Lord dialogue. where if you click on him enough, you'll get an audio clip of him and his girlfriend on a morning talk show.
Well, Kim Cake, I love you, but I have something to tell you. I'm a demon.
Oh, God, he put the wool over your eyes.
Actually, more of a pit lord.
What? I don't understand.
Warcraft 3 really was like no other game. On all sides there's completely badass characters, and you feel invested in their journey and transformations through the story.
Now I am complete.
You've got the story of legendary characters. Arthas, a little arrogant but a goody two-shoes holy paladin.
Don't worry, son. We'll find them and bring them home safe.
My mind was blown away when you go from the human to undead campaign, and Arthas carries over as a champion of the undead.
I am Thrall, and these are my brethren, the orcs.
Thrall, an orc warchief that completely changed how I saw orcs.
What are we if not slaves to this torment?
Sylvanas, an elf ranger and complete underdog character.
You'll regret approaching me.
Illidan, a misunderstood night elf and complete badass. It feels like there's something for everyone, from archdruids, demon hunters to the undead. And when these factions and characters clash, it is pretty epic.
After today, the Scourge will meet its end.
You can see how these foundations really helped shape World of Warcraft's massive success. So, issues aside, and there's a lot of them, the actual story and characters are still amazing.
You have been a loyal friend, Kel'Thuzad.
I remember the bonus Horde campaign was pretty good at the time. This is where you play a half-ogre, half-orc, Rexxar, and you help build up the Horde city of Orgrimmar and go on an adventure. And this campaign feels a lot more like a full-on RPG, and you can even explore the world. It was really fun replaying this. There's vendors to buy stuff, fancy rare equipment with special effects that felt a bit like Diablo, and I took the time to do all the side quests. And I think it was even better this time around because I recognised so many of the Horde characters' names from World of Warcraft. While some of these characters just offer side quests or run stores, they get bigger moments in World of Warcraft's future story.
But enough about me. We got work to do, buddy.
Back in the day I used to play tons and tons of custom games like Tower Defense, Tug of War and hero games. There was a lot of Lord of the Rings themed stuff and it was really fun. I think over time I've become a bit jaded and more antisocial, so I didn't delve into custom games this time, but I think a change in the terms of service really puts me off as well. People used to spend ages making really good custom maps. I even did a bit of it myself, and now you don't even have any ownership of your creations, and, quote, have to hand over your moral rights. I think this sucks, and if this was in place in the original Warcraft 3, then games like Defense of the Ancients 2 might not exist today. Well, an absolutely legendary game brought down by a shoddy remake / remaster. It's a tough one to recommend. Maybe on sale the campaign is worth running through. Love the story and characters, just be aware this has a lot of problems and it's not what was promised. I am disappointed in the state of the game. It's kinda shocking that there's still so many bugs, grammar mistakes in the text, and Blizzard doesn't even care to fulfill their original promises. I revisited this in preparation for World of Warcraft's next big story arc with The War Within, and it's not off to the best start. Alright, peace for now.